Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we here at Tipsmodo really get into the details that matter. Today, we're focusing on that massive Champions League quarterfinal second leg, Aston Villa versus Paris Saint-Germain. You've given us your input, and, well, we've been digging deep into the data here at Tipsmodo for this huge match at Villa Park.
Yeah, the big one for us really here at Tipsmodo is simple. Can Aston Villa actually overturn that 3-1 deficit from the first leg? I mean, PSG are a top side.
Definitely.
So we'll be looking at, what gives Villa a fighting chance, their recent form, that incredible home record, obviously, but also PSG's strengths and, crucially, maybe where they might be a little bit vulnerable. Our whole aim at Tipsmodo is just to give everyone a clear picture of what's going on heading into this one.
Okay, good stuff. Let's kick off with Aston Villa then. That 3-1 loss in Paris, obviously not ideal. But what have we seen from them since? What's the reaction been like from our perspective here at Tipsmodo?
Well, what really jumped out for us at Tipsmodo was their response. That 3-0 win against Southampton at the weekend. That was pretty convincing. It showed they can definitely bounce back, which, well, they'll need to.
For sure.
And actually, that win makes it 7 victories in their last 8 games. That's serious momentum. Can't really ignore that.
No, you can't. And looking at their strengths, that home form, wow. That's something we at Tipsmodo have been seriously impressed by. What is it now? 17 games unbeaten at home across all competitions. That's a fortress, isn't it?
It really is. And, what our analysis at Tipsmodo highlights isn't just that they win at home, but how they win. The data shows they often control the game at Villa Park, create really good chances, clever play in midfield, that kind of tactical approach. It could be a different challenge for PSG, something they haven't faced too often away from home, perhaps.
Right. So with that home strength in mind, what do we at Tipsmodo think is the absolute key for them if they're going to pull off a comeback?
From our angle at Tipsmodo, it's got to be about unleashing that fearless attacking football we know they can play. They need to grab the game by the scruff of the neck, try and unsettle PSG early on at Villa Park.
It's a huge ask, though. Our research here at Tipsmodo, looking back historically, overturning a 2-goal deficit in Europe, that's been a massive hurdle for Villa in the past.
Yeah.
But that current home run, it does add a fascinating twist, doesn't it?
It really does. History might say it's unlikely, maybe, but you can't just dismiss that unbeaten streak at home. It's powerful. So the question for us at Tipsmodo is, can they use that Villa Park atmosphere, that form, under this kind of intense pressure? We certainly think it gives them a platform, a real chance to make a game of it.
Okay, let's talk team news. Aston Villa. What are we hearing at Tipsmodo? Any worries?
Well, our info at Tipsmodo suggests Leon Bailey is the main doubt, nursing that knock. He might be okay for the bench, perhaps. But what was really telling, we thought, was Emery's selection against Southampton. Seeing Watkins, McGinn, Malin, all key guys come off the bench and score, that strongly suggests they're back in the starting lineup.
Makes sense.
And we at Tipsmodo also expect Pau Torres, Lucas Digne, Boubacar Kamara. They should all return. Oh, and Marco Asensio, could he get a start against his parent club? That adds a little bit of spice, doesn't it?
It certainly does. So pulling together our insights at Tipsmodo, what does a likely Villa starting 11 look like?
Okay, based on our Tipsmodo analysis, a possible Villa lineup could be Martinez in goal, Cash, Konsa, Torres, Digne across the back, then Kamara and Tielemans holding in midfield, and maybe Rodgers, McGinn, and Rashford supporting Watkins up top.
Right, interesting. Let's switch focus now to Paris Saint-Germain, their Champions League journey this season. How have we tracked that here at Tipsmodo?
Well, what's been quite notable from our side at Tipsmodo is how their campaign developed. They had a bit of a shaky start, remember, in the group stage. But since then, Luis Enrique's team they've really clicked. Sailed through the rest of the group and the knockouts so far. And obviously that 3-1 first leg win against Villa was a pretty clear sign of where they are right now.
Yeah, and in that first leg, we at Tipsmodo definitely saw their quality shine through. Some fantastic goals.
Oh, absolutely. Those 2 finishes from the young guns Desire Du and Khvicha, Kvaratskhelia players we've been impressed by all season, frankly. They really set PSG up. And then Nuno Mendes popping up late on. And it just showed the depth of threat they have, really, all over the park.
And their away form, something we keep highlighting at Tipsmodo,
it's exceptional.
It really is. 16 wins in a row away from home in all competitions. That tells you everything about their mentality and quality on the road. It's a huge factor in our Tipsmodo analysis, obviously. However, and we know this from following PSG closely over the years here at Tipsmodo, they do have this history these high-pressure away legs haven't always gone their way. People still talk about past collapses, don't they?
Yeah.
Is that noise something this current team thinks about?
It's definitely part of the narrative, isn't it? That historical context. And as we at Tipsmodo know, Unai Emery himself orchestrated one of those famous comebacks against PSG back in the day.
The remontada, yeah.
Exactly. But look, this PSG team feels a bit different. There's that exciting youth we saw blended with real experience. They'll be absolutely determined, you'd think, to avoid any repeat of those past heartbreaks.
Okay, and what about PSG's team news? Anything significant we've picked up at Tipsmodo?
Our latest updates at Tipsmodo suggest Luis Enrique has pretty much a full deck to choose from, which is, a massive plus heading into a second leg. Captain Marquinhos is back from suspension. That's a big boost defensively. Yeah, so we at Tipsmodo think Lucas Beraldo will probably make way for him, with Willian Pacho keeping his place at center back. And then you've got the danger men. Ousmane Dembélé, his goal involvements this season are just staggering. Khvicha, Kvaratskhelia, and Vitinha in midfield, who absolutely ran the show with his passing in the first leg.
Record number of passes, wasn't it?
Something like that, yeah. Incredible performance.
So drawing on our Tipsmodo insights again, what's a potential PSG starting 11?
Okay, so based on our analysis here at Tipsmodo, a possible PSG lineup might look like Donnarumma in goal, Hakimi, Marquinhos, Pacho Mendes at the back, then maybe the midfield three of Ruiz, Vitinha, and Neves, and up front, Dembélé and Kvaratskhelia.
Potent. Very potent indeed. So looking at the whole picture then, bringing it all together as we see it here at Tipsmodo, what kind of game are we expecting?
Well, it's clear from our Tipsmodo analysis that Villa have a mountain to climb, overturning that 2-goal deficit, no doubt about it. But that home form we talked about, Villa Park under the lights, Unai Emery's track record in these knockout ties, it all suggests we're in for, well, a really compelling night, potentially unpredictable too.
Absolutely. And while PSG have that amazing away record, like you said, they just can't afford any complacency, can they? Not against a Villa side playing that well at home with that crowd behind them. Knockout football can be, well, crazy sometimes.
Precisely. And we at Tipsmodo also factor in PSG's massive ambition, right? They are desperate to finally win this trophy. That drive, plus maybe learning from those past slip-ups, you have to think that will really focus them for the second leg.
So wrapping up our deep dive here at Tipsmodo, it looks like a classic clash brewing. Villa's fierce home resilience against PSG's firepower and that dominant away form. The deficit's big, yes, but Villa's recent results and that home backing offer, a sliver of hope for their fans. PSG, though, they'll be laser-focused on getting the job done and booking their spot in the semis.
Definitely. And look, here at Tipsmodo, we're constantly crunching the numbers, analyzing these matchups to bring you the best insights we possibly can. For expert betting tips, for that deeper analysis that can really help you make informed choices, make sure you visit us at www.tipsmodo.co.ke. That's what we're here for at Tipsmodo, giving you that edge. Just remember, always bet responsibly, and most importantly, enjoy what should be a cracking Champions League night.